Welcome to the Web Services training video on calendar setup. During this video, we're going to go over how to set up the two key types of calendars, master and event calendars. In order to get to Webtools, if you're new to this, you go to webtools.illinois.edu. That's webtools.illinois.edu. So let's start by first talking about what's the difference between a master calendar and an event calendar. Event calendars are for holding events. You add events to an event calendar. A master calendar only includes other event calendars. As a general rule, we always recommend making the master calendar your public-facing calendar. This is the calendar you're going to advertise to other people. It gives you the most flexibility. So what's an example of using this kind of calendar structure? Let's say Public Affairs wants an event calendar, or it could be the college education, college engineering, or some organization in general. So first they're going to create a master calendar. Then they're going to create a series of event calendars. Now, how many event calendars do you create? So as an example, in public affairs, maybe they want events from all the different departments. So they would have Web Services create an event calendar. The News Bureau create an event calendar. Then the master calendar for public affairs would include those two calendars. That way, the event calendar from the News Bureau can have their own manager, and Web Services can have their manager. You might have 3 or 4 different event calendars. It really depends on who's going to be putting the information into the calendars. The next consideration is sharing information. So let's go back to a college. You might have a department or two in a college that wants their events advertised in their college calendar. However, they might have events that are very specific to their college, but not specific to the campus in general. So a department in the college education, for instance, might have 2 calendars. They might have one where they put most of their events that's included into their college calendar, master calendar. That event calendar can also be included in the campus general calendar so that they're shared across multiple calendars. However, that same department might have events for, say, a retirement party. So theirs might get shared with just their college. This way you can kind of segment what events go with what audiences. So when setting up event calendars, you want to consider who is going to be adding the events and who are you trying to communicate with. So if you have separate audiences, you might want separate event calendars. Always feel free to reach out to Web Services and talk with us. We're more than happy to discuss your calendaring strategy so that you organize things in the best possible way. Let's get started creating some calendars. When you're in the Webtools portal, you'll notice calendars at the top, and we're going to go to Setup. Within here, the first tab is My Calendars. This lists all of the calendars where you're an admin. You'll see below the names of my calendars, and to the right, the type of calendar, either master or event. At the top, you'll notice Search. This allows me to find other calendars for the purpose of identifying who is the admins or managers of that calendar. I have Department. The Department tab shows me all of the calendars in my department that I don't have admin access to. Unit is all of the calendars within my college or administrative unit that I again don't have admin access to. Deleted, these are all of the calendars where I've deleted them. and I can simply check them at the left and hit the Restore button at the top right. So let's go back to My Calendars. So from here, if I want to edit a calendar, I can click on it. But in this case, we're going to create some calendars. So let's start by creating an event calendar. I'll simply press Create. I'll choose the type of calendar. We want an event calendar. I can set either myself as the administrator, or I can choose a security group from the Groups tab. Remember, this is a security group, not an email group. So I'm just going to click Create. Now we've created a calendar, an event calendar. So let's go ahead and give it a name. I'm going to go ahead and use asterisk event calendar. I put the asterisk in front because I have a bunch of calendars already, and I want to make sure it shows up at the top. There's some fields on this General tab that we need to fill in or make sure it has the proper value. So the second field in the list is Calendar Description. This is just so you can keep track of your calendar. It won't display anywhere. It's just for your records. We also have the domain. This would be if you're wanting to share the URL that's found below it with other people. So if you wanted to put a link on a website, send out an email with a link in it. Remember though, this is an event calendar and we primarily want to only display to the general public master calendars. So in this case, we're not really concerned about the calendar URL. We also have this homepage display type. Again, we don't really care about this because for the event calendar, we're not really going to advertise this. This would matter on a master calendar. The next in the list is Available to Master Calendars. This allows your event calendar to be seen and included by master calendars. So we'll go ahead and check this. Next down, we have some defaults for sharing. So Illinois has a mobile app. If you want your events from your calendar to appear in the Illinois app, what you need to do is check this field. We also have a research, a speakers, and a Chicago area calendar. In this case, since this is really for a demonstration purposes only, I'm going to uncheck that. And the final field to note here is Allow Event Submissions. This allows the general public to submit events to my calendar. In most cases, this is not checked, but occasionally people have calendars where they want people to be able to submit events that are occurring. Those events have to be approved by the moderator, so they don't automatically get published. So I'm going to press Save. So at this point, our event calendar is set up. We'll talk about appearance when we get to the master calendar. Widgets are something that will be covered in a standalone video. Widgets are basically these page components or JavaScript includes that can take your events and share them on a web page. Privileges. The Privileges tab allows us to define who are the managers and who are the administrators. The managers and administrators are listed below. Emails, these are the people that will receive email notifications when events are being requested. So if you turn on public submission of events, then when if you have a couple managers that want to get notified, this is where they would put their email address in. At this point, the event calendar is set up and can be viewed. And now you can see the event calendar. But again, since this is an event calendar, we ideally don't want to market this. We want to use a master calendar. So let's go set up a master calendar. You'll notice the event calendar is listed here. And now we're going to create a new calendar. This is a master calendar that will contain our event calendar. And when we come in, it's the same basic fields that we had before. So I'm going to go ahead and put in master calendar. We have a description, the domain. Now the URL is really important at this point because this is the URL we're going to share with everybody. My homepage display type. So this is how it's laid out. And you can change these and experiment with them. Now I'm going to go to the Appearance tab. On the Appearance tab, this is where we pick our skin. So if I view it right now, this is the skin that the calendar is being demoed in. I'm going to go ahead and close this. And let's go ahead and use the Public Affairs skin. And now you can see the look and feel has changed ever so slightly. But we're going to go ahead and leave it on the Web Services default skin for now. There's also a Screens sub-tab. On the Screens tab, there's an introductory and closing messages. I can simply enter text that's going to appear at the top and bottom of the screens. I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel. The Includes tab is where we add calendars to our master calendar. I went ahead and scrolled through the list and selected a handful of event calendars and pressed the Add to Master button. This populated my list with these event calendars, and now when I press View, now you can see I have all kinds of events in my event calendar. Privileges is the same as the prior. You'll notice, however, there is no email option because events cannot be submitted to a master calendar. At this point, we've covered everything you need to know to set up a calendar. The next step is managing it. But before we go, how do you reach out to us if you have any questions? If you scroll to the bottom of any Webtools screen, you'll see the Contact Us button at the bottom. When you press this, it gives you a form to fill out. Make sure to include the name of the application or service that you have a question about. That would be the name at the top of the screen of the button you pressed. Second, what is the URL or ID to the item or thing you have a question regarding? And finally, whatever question you